Hello and welcome to another development diary for Mongoose Traveller on Foundry. This episode I'm looking at some of the new features and changes in version 0.15.1. So first of all, a small bug fix or maybe possibly of enhancement depending on how you look at things. So a while back I added support for components. And you could basically add, you could mark items as accepting components, and here we've got a linked general item as a component. And if we equip this, then it's giving us a bonus on our strength. If we unequip, so strength's going from 4 to 6, basically. If we take a look at the general item, this is what's giving us the strength bonus. So if I remove that, then the strength bonus goes away. If I add it in, then we've got the bonus. Previously, if you had a component which had an active effect on it, it wouldn't give you a bonus. Now it does. So that was a relatively small change, which someone raised a request for. Another change that's been made is for streamlining how characters are created by players. So if I log in as a non-GM, this is the first time I've logged in, so it's asking me to set up my user. I can't set a default player character because I don't have any. So, but if we go to here, so I've actually set permissions to allow players to create their own characters. So if we go in here, we create a traveller. I don't know, let's call them Eustace, create a character. So we can see automatically the player field has been populated with the name of this player. And also down here, this character has been set as the default character for this player. If we were to create another one, let's use Alice as an example. So we don't set the default character here because this player now already has a default character. But the idea is to try and streamline character generation a bit, and because there are advantages to having a default character set when you're buying items, setting skills, that sort of thing, it made sense to do this automatically rather than to have the GM have to do it for everyone. So, or rather, not the GM, but the players would have to remember to set up their characters themselves. So, if we take a look at, so if I get this right, okay, so if we go back to the GM's view here, and we go to settings, configure settings, Mongoose Traveller, so we have, right, okay, we have a new configuration setting, auto set player character. This defaults to true. You can switch it off if you want to. If you switch that off, then it won't automatically set the default player character for a player. But it defaults to true in order to try and make as I said, to streamline the character generation process. So we've got for the GM, if the GM creates some, so we can go in here, we can create a GM character, for example. They don't have a default set, and we can double check that they don't have a default set, and they don't have the player field set, so it only works for non-GM characters, basically. Another feature that's been added is support for Deckplans. So if we have a look at a starship character sheet, Go to the note section. We've now got a add deck option, and if we click that, we'll add in a deck plan for this starship. If we click there, here's some I prepared earlier. So I can select File Trader. We've got a deck plan added in there, and you can click on that eye icon to view it. You can then show it to players if you want to. You can add multiple decks, deck plans. I don't know, doesn't really matter which deck plans I'm adding here, but you can have as many decks there as you want. You can also remove them, but it's just a way of being able to attach the deck plans to the starship so that that information is there. And taking a look at documents, so I've sort of shown before, you can add reference spacecraft in a journal, and it will now also automatically add in the deck plans to the journal entries when you do so. So if we sort of scroll down here, we can see we've got the deck plans for our various ships. So that was a relatively straightforward option. It might be nice if you could turn these into scenes, so you could automatically turn them into a map you could put tokens on, but that is so dependent on exactly how the map's been drawn. I'm not sure how you'd sort of do that in a useful way, but at least now you can add deck plans to ships. Finally, we've added an example career sheet. So if we go to the default compendiums which come with a basic system and go to docs, we now have an examples folder here, and we have a consultant career. Now this isn't a real career, it's just an example. The point of this is to demonstrate how the macros and skill rolling works. So if we move to chat, we can have a look at this, and if you switch that to trained only, it makes it a bit more obvious. We can take the service skills, we can increment other skills, so you can basically just click on these quite easily, and this is where having a default character comes into play, because if you've got a token selected, it will use the character for the token you've got selected. If you don't have any token selected, it will automatically use your default character if you're not the GM. You can also set skills at a particular level. So if I click on leadership, it'll go to 1. If I do it again, it won't do it a second time. And we have a record here of what it is you've done. You can also take benefit. So we look at finance, we've now got, we had 5,000 before, we've got an extra 20,000. You can increment stats. You can pick up items. So we've now got a ship share, and we go to history. You could pick up 1d3 allies, and it will add in allies, etc. You can also make skill checks. So if we click on that, and it will tell you the results of that. So if we, in fact, what we can do, probably the best way of doing it, if I go to there, drag that to here, then I can edit it, and you can see what macros are being used for the various options. But I've gone through these macros before. And I've sort of shown off these career pages before, which will become part of the official content. But if you want to do your own careers, or either redo the official ones or create new careers yourself, then there is now a template you can use for doing that. I mean, honestly, it's not the simplest thing going through these, and especially setting up all these skills, but it's not too difficult, and it's at least it's possible, and it makes things nice and streamlined for the players. Okay, and that's about wraps up the features that are in 15.1. So it should be available by the time this video goes out. So happy gaming, and I'll talk to you all again soon when I do the next development diary. Thank you.